Clearly, a restless and ominous storm is raging outside, where even time itself seems to have lost its way. Shake the rain from your cloaks and draw near to the fire. If your cups have run dry, lean back, for tonight I will tell you a tale that will make you forget every story you have ever known, every golden victory you have ever celebrated. Tonight we shall speak of the lie of the Chosen One and the age-old agony of the Dark Lord. For years, they told us the story. The war of good against evil. Harry Potter, the golden boy of Hogwarts, and Lord Voldemort, the most terrifying nightmare of the wizarding world. They told us that fate brought them together.
But my friends, have you ever stopped to think? Why were the cores of their wands identical? Why were their minds bound together by such a dark bridge? Why, even as a baby, could Harry speak the tongue of serpents? Dumbledore told us it was because a piece of Voldemort's soul had passed into Harry. But what if the truth is not so simple? What if that shard of soul was not a transfer, but a reunion? When the Battle of Hogwarts ended and Voldemort turned to ash, everyone believed the world was saved. Harry Potter was a hero. He married. He had children. He became the head of the Auror office at the Ministry. Years chased after years.
But the invisible wounds left by the war never healed. Harry realized that the wizarding world had never truly changed. The corruption, the obsession with pure blood, and the ancient hatred had merely taken on new forms. Magic was slowly dying. The world was rotting. Harry, as the years passed, began to crumble under the weight of his savior burden. Every time he looked in the mirror, he felt his scar throbbing, as if it were whispering to him.
But time, my friends, is an ocean cruel enough to know a man's mind. If you dive too deep into the ocean, you suffer the bends.
When Harry cast that ancient dark time magic and was hurled into the past, his body held, but his mind shattered. The trauma of decades of war, the grief for the loved ones he had lost, and the cosmic pressure of traveling backward crushed Harry's identity. When he set foot in the past, he was no longer Harry Potter. He was a formless soul, carrying only a massive reservoir of magical power and an undefinable, maddening hatred.
He was alone, abandoned, just like a small boy growing up in an orphanage. To fill that dark void in his own mind, Harry clung to power. Over the years, that lost mind twisted its own traumas into a monster. The name of that monster was Lord Voldemort. Yes, you heard me correctly. The Dark Lord who set the wizarding world ablaze, the one whose name was feared to be spoken, was actually Harry Potter himself, a man drowning in the despair of the future, taking refuge in the past, only to tear his own soul apart along the way. Voldemort's unrelenting rage was actually the echo of the despair Harry felt in the future. Voldemort hated Dumbledore because, in his subconscious, he remembered that Dumbledore was a manipulator who had groomed him for death. And Voldemort's sick obsession with Harry Potter, it was not a desire to destroy an enemy, but a primal instinct to complete his own existence, to resolve his own past. Ottobre 31, 1981. Godric Solo. A rainy, cold Halloween night. That tall figure in a dark cloak slowly opened the garden gate of the Potter house. Inside, behind the illuminated window, James sat without his wand, and Lily played with a baby in her arms. As that figure approached the door, a faint, long-buried memory echoed in the deepest, darkest corner of his mind. A father, a mother, and a home. When he drew his wand, his hand did not tremble. Do you know why? Because Voldemort, Harry from the future, had realized the most terrible, most agonizing truth at that very moment. Time was a serpent eating its own tail. If he did not enter that house and commit those murders, that baby would not grow up an orphan. That baby would not grow up in the dark cupboard under the stairs at the Dursleys. That baby would not learn to know pain, loneliness, and darkness, and thus would never go to Hogwarts. That baby could not become the chosen one. And if that baby did not endure those hardships, he could not travel back in time in the future and become Voldemort. The entire timeline would collapse, existence would fall into a paradox, and the world would cease to be. He shattered the door. A brave man with glasses stood before him, James Potter, his own father. When he shouted that green light, Avada Kedavra, did a tear fall from Voldemort's eyes? We will never know. But killing his own father destroyed the last vestige of humanity in his fragmented soul. He climbed the stairs. He opened the door to the room. Standing before him was a woman with her arms outstretched to protect the baby, pleading. Lily, his own mother. "Take him! Take me! Please, don't touch Harry!" These words echoed thousands of times in Voldemort's mind. The scream he heard every time the Dementors drew near in the future was not his mother's scream. It was the scream of his own conscience, the cosmic horror of murdering his own mother with his own hands. He raised his wand. If he did not kill her, the ancient, primal, protective magic would not be etched into Harry's soul. To ignite his own existence, to start his own ordeal, he had to slaughter the person he loved most. The green light illuminated the room. Lily Potter fell to the floor, and only the baby remained. Voldemort, the weary hero of the future, locked eyes with his own childhood. When he aimed his wand at the forehead of that innocent babe, he was not committing a murder. He was signing his own ticket to a hell that would last for years. He cast the spell, but the death curse rebounded. Dumbledore said it was because of Lily's love. It was not a lie, but it was incomplete. The curse rebounded because the laws of time do not allow a person to destroy themselves in such a way. Time bent, fractured, and that last piece torn from Voldemort's soul entered where it belonged, into the mind of his own childhood, into that baby. The lightning bolt scar on his forehead was not a curse left by a dark wizard. That scar was a tear in the fabric of time. It was the brand of a man who, to save the world, had slaughtered his own childhood and his own family. Years later in the forest, when Harry stood before Voldemort to take the death curse, he was not facing an enemy, but his own fate. That is why, my friends, there is no winner in this tale. There is only an infinite cycle. When all is finished, that child will grow up, grow weary, travel to the past, and point that wand at his own mother once more. The hero will turn forever within the nightmare of his own creation.